Welcome back everybody to week 80 of my reboot progression series. Before we continue the calling practice, I want to start this episode off with the secondary account, which is still very small, only 600 legions levels so far. I want to make sure that I abuse the Maple Island event as much as possible, and in order to do that, I got a coin cap on at least 2 days to get this storage started, right? Because the second day reward is already plenty to work with, right? We got 9 3x coupons that I can claim here in just a couple of minutes, as well as, of course, the general Terra Burninator that we just got for free with this event. And also, we are approaching the end of May, which means that I have to coin cap here on the daily in order to get the Mega Burninator, that's what it's called, Mega Burninator, from the daily login reward. And that should do it. Yeah, okay, that was the last activation. Let's just head to the event map so I don't get killed by these mobs and claim our 3x. There we go. Let's also claim the Terra Burninator and put that into storage. I wanted, yes, Mech for Soga. So, here we are on my newly created Demon Avenger. I think Demon Avenger is a pretty good early character to create just because of the beneficial damage link skill that it provides to the whole account. And am I hyper... what? Not hyper burning, but Terra burning? No, it was a little too easy. I didn't even have to enter my name or anything like that. That was my expectation at least. And a new monster collection, nice. Okay, I guess I should just activate the 3x coupons. I don't want to really be too skimpy with them, or whatever you would like to say, right? I don't want to hold them and end up maybe not utilizing every single one of those and feel sad about myself maybe. No, I'll just use them and see, if I waste a couple of minutes, that's completely fine. Okay, so 30 more seconds on my 3x coupon, meaning I basically leveled for 1 hour and got to 124. That's not too shabby. I didn't expect to get this far, and I still need to at least kill 300 mobs every day for the next 7 days in order to get the next Burninator. And I guess during that time I will maybe make it to 241. If I don't quite make it in the end, I'll just grind out the last few levels, but I think, this has been some good progress that I made here. It's basically getting 2 characters from 0 to 141 basically translates into me getting 400 additional legion levels, including the potions that I'm gonna use, of course, right? So we made it from roughly 600 to 1000. So next up, let's talk about the weekly bossing situation right here. So I've created the small infographic on the top right in order to keep all the new viewers also informed of where I'm at in the game, right? I thought it's kinda nice to just show what pitched items I currently have, and what I'm looking for, obviously, right? I'm not 100% sure how I want to go about the Lotus Heart, right? Because I could pop Black Hearts and fill that in, but the graphic is from the new Extreme Lotus drop, so I have no idea how I'm going to handle that as of now. And then when it comes to the grandest bosses, I could keep track of my Eternals or how many of the etc. drops I have currently in my inventory, but I'm not 100% sure if that's gonna be too helpful. But yeah, you can let me know what you think about it. Besides that, I wanted to talk about dailies again, because it has come to my attention, and I have to put it like that because it's such an automation for me, or I don't know how to put it, but I rarely even think about how much load I put on myself for like minimal gains even, right? And right now I am trying to unlock the second Burninator on the secondary account, which means I am logging into 2 accounts on the daily, right? Which is adding to what I'm doing. But then I also do Arcane River dailies on the Marksman just to get it into a comfortable spot to be a 3-door bosser. I mean, I really want it to be extremely strong, simply for the fact that I want to steamroll the 3 doors and be done with it. And I will talk about the bossing setup here in a moment, but let's keep the focus on the dailies for now. Then I log into the Shade, where I also do all the Arcane River dailies, as well as I do my 7 Monster Park runs, just to get this character to 250 eventually, right? And I'm not 100% sure where I'm gonna stop doing dailies on this character, but it's probably gonna be around like 244, 245, something like that. And then from that point onwards, I'm just gonna wait for mag potions, right? Next, I log into my Blaze Wizard here, where I am currently deciding whether or not I want to do the Tenebris and Moonbridge dailies in order to get experience on the daily, right? Because just doing these dailies, and you know, it's really just 400 mobs to be honest, gives roughly 5%, which means I could eventually hit to 60 on the Blaze Wizard. Would be kind of cool, to be honest. But it's a time investment, and I'm not 100% sure if I wanna go along with that, but I'm in the process of figuring that out, right? Besides that, the Blaze Wizard also currently does Gollux on the daily, just to get the last item slot filled in before I can start doing Hard Lotus on the guy. Same really goes for the Thunderbreaker, where I still do Gollux. I also do Gollux on the Wind Archer, because if you've seen my cubing video recently in the cube sale, you know that yes, this guy I got super lucky with a 3-line drop meso combination, but that means that I gotta farm 700 coins again to get this guy a proper Gollux item, because I can't just reroll that, right? And then lastly, wait, it's not even lastly, oh no. I do log into a Night Lord here and take on Magnus here on the daily, because this is one of the 6-set mules that I potentially want to turn into a bossing mule. And on all my 6-set mules, I am currently in the process of farming 5 boss accessories from the boss accessory set in order to get the 5-set boss accessory set bonus. Ay, what a mouthful. And yeah, this character is definitely missing the badge right now. And then I log into the Kana next, which does just a Zakum run. The Kana is missing a bunch of items, but currently I just, log into the Kana, clear Zakum. If the face doesn't drop, I just log out immediately again, so I don't have to do a bunch of overworld movement. And yeah, that's basically what I do on the daily on my mules, which is a little much, I know. Before I go into the main, log in, and also do my Sacred Force dailies here, as well as Gollux, as well as Acarium, and all that of course takes a bunch of time away from my actual goals, right? I do want to clear Easy Carling solo, and I did pop a Blackheart last week, and I feel like I just don't have quite enough time to really get the practice in right now, which is a shame. Because I feel kind of guilty about it. I did pop a Blackheart, so I should throw myself at the boss over and over again to get better, right? Oh man, it's really hard to motivate myself to do that, because it's just so hard. It's so frustrating to having to go through like 9 minutes of phase 1 / sometimes it's 12 minutes if I don't really play that well, and then have my short P2 training session, and then I can't even re-enter because my buffs are all running out, etc. It's just not a great situation. I'm really looking forward to the proper boss practice mode, and I think once that is here, I will really keep my head down and try to get the Carling solo down, because right now it's just a little bit too far out of my reach, I think. With that being said, at the same time, I do want to still keep trying just to get better, but I don't want to force myself in order to get it done, right? I currently also enjoy just grinding in my free time, and especially just farming fragments, because I know every fragment that I farm is gonna be improving my damage on Carling, which is absolutely amazing. So it's a balancing game, right? There are so many dailies to do on the mules. There are dailies to do on the main, there's farming to do on the main, there's bossing to do on the main, and then just, you know, boss practicing to do on the main. Ugh. Like, finding the optimum here is extremely difficult, and honestly, not 100% what I'm looking forward to do anyways, right? I'm looking for something that provides the optimal amount of fun to me, right? So I end up just doing what I feel like, and that is usually like one carling attempt a day, and then I'll just grind it out, right? After doing all the dailies that I just shown off. Yeah, it's it's you know, it's quite a lot. The dailies take me roughly an hour to do, maybe a little over an hour, and then, you know, I still do a WAP at least. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I wanted to talk about the weeklies that I do also, and how I go about optimizing them, because I very recently found this bossing sheet while looking for boss crystal trackers. I just came across an old Reddit post where this was basically introduced, right? And I found this to be a great sheet where I can just enter all the bossing mules that I have and just tick off all the bosses that I do run on them, in order to see, okay, how many crystals am I actually selling a week, and how much money am I generating with those. And what you can see here is, on the main, I do all the lower weeklies, and then from Hard Lotus to normal colors, I do, you know, either solos or even party bossing. And then you have my other Nights of Cygnus, where I of course also do the lower weeklies, but I am trying to also always do Easy Lucid. Wait, I have Easy Lucid and Normal Lucid ticked? Oh no, this is not what I wanted to have. Ay. So I wanted to do Easy Lucid, and then the plan was to also do Normal Gloom, I'm pretty sure. No, wait, this was supposed to be Slime. Here, this is what I wanted to have ticked on all of these characters. Okay, so, with that out of the way, I am currently doing Hard Lotus on the Mihal, the Wind Archer, and the Dawn Warrior. And I am starting to do Hard Lotus on the Thunderbreaker and Blaze Wizard here very soon, which is the discrepancy between these two characters. Roughly like 200 mil a week in income. Also, of course, the chance for a Blackheart, but it hasn't spawned for me yet, right, on these mules. Or dropped, rather, right? So, I am still working on those, and honestly, it's a lot of fun to have other characters that are also strong, right? At the same time, I would like to have a little bit of a shorter runtime, like 15 minutes would be the chef's kiss. Below 20 minutes is also really good. But right now, they are a little slow. So, I guess from the first couple of Absolab boxes, I'm definitely gonna be pushing the Abso pieces further, but I will need to, you know, save some money for that first, and then in Shining, I'm hoping to reduce the runtime on these Hard Lotus runs, and yeah, just, you know, my time spent on the weekly on these characters drastically, right? So right now I'm logging into these characters, do 20 to 25 minutes Hard Lotus, and then I think it takes me 35 minutes to do all the other bosses, probably. Something like that, for roughly 1 hour in total, where I play on these 5 characters each. Then, besides that, I have the Corsair my first character that I ever created in the account, my Mercedes, which is, yeah, just another character that I have for the Legion block, right? It's also 250. And then the the marksman that you've already seen in this video. The plan for these characters is to do all the bosses up to Catchy. Corsair and Mercedes already do that. I will start on the after the next Star Forcing event, I'm pretty sure, because here I'm really lacking in the equips department. Also, I'm currently in the process of using all the unique cubes that I'm getting to improve the gear on this guy. Then, next up we have these 3 slots for characters that I currently don't boss on, slash that are also missing equips, slash that are also missing a lot of nodes, right? So, I'm thinking about creating a Bowmaster, a Buccaneer and a Dual Blade as my last few boss mules, but these are still up for debate. I could also see myself creating the Night Lord, you know, that character that you already seen in this video, as a boss mule. I know it's kinda pretty bad, but you know, since I'm pushing that character to 250 anyways, and it will get a lot of stat from symbols alone, I don't think it's gonna be too bad to have a Night Lord bossing mule, right? I know it's 3 minutes, I know, but I think it could be doable with the way I'm way overgearing these characters for what they are doing, right? Either like 3 doors or up to a Catchy. And here you see, with this current setup, I'm selling 136 crystals, and if I were to just, you know, check all the boxes on the last remaining characters, I get very, very close to the maximum of 180 crystals a week, which, you know, should be the goal for you if you are trying to optimize your weekly income. I know some people might cringe. I am over a year into my progression series, and now I'm really starting to optimize my bossy mules, right? For the longest time I did only my bosses on the main and that was it. Then I slowly started doing up to normal loaders on my other Knights of Cygnus, and now I think, you know, this development is from the last like 2 weeks. I started doing up to a Catchy on my Corsair and Mercedes, and then, you know, you've seen my struggle CIA run 2 weeks ago from the marksman, which was super fun to me. And yeah, this is the newest character in my bossing roster basically. With that being said, some people go way further than this, and they end up running more harder bosses, and they stop doing bosses like Hardhilla, Cygnus, Zakum, Pink Bean, stuff like that on the weekly, because the income isn't as great from these bosses, and they rather sell more harder boss crystals. I thought about this approach, but I think in the current meta, this is probably not the way you wanna go if you this is probably not the way you wanna go if you have not already. If you currently don't have established characters in your account, simply for the fact to get a character to quickly clear bosses like normal Lucid, normal Will, normal Gloom, maybe even normal Darknell, right? And above, I know some people have Chaos Tenny bossing mules, right? I know that exists, but if you are in the situation and are wondering, should I create a C10 bossing mule right now for income, that's definitely out of the question. You should rather go horizontal than vertical when it comes to bossing mules, right? Create these kinds of bossing mules that clear up to a Catchy. Gearing up to a Catchy is somewhat easily done and is very rewarding in terms of return on investment, but it can feel like a slog if you aren't really well connected with the characters that you end up logging in, right? For me personally, I really liked investing into the other Knights of Cygnus to see, you know, how they play, right? It's just fun to play a mage, to also play an archer, right? And that's why I'm considering pushing the Blaze Wizard further, because it's just fun to play the Blaze Wizard, even though it's really, really clunky. So yeah, in conclusion, besides all the dailies that I do, this is what keeps me busy and away from practicing bosses, which I think can be fine, but it can also be trouble. You know, when it comes to content creation, right? It might be a little boring because I don't have a lot of things to show, but doing my bossing mules generates money, which also improves my gear, which probably also helps me with bosses in the long run. You know, there's a balancing act to everything that you do in this game, and my personal struggle is balancing even the simplest of things here. So let's be honest, I'm really terrible at this. Okay. Just to add to why I think creating a C10 bossing mule, or like just a hard bossing mule right now, is probably not the right thing for you, or at least for most people to do, is because you end up spending a lot of mesos as well as time on creating such a character and setting that up, and exactly that time should probably be spent on just farming out your 6th job, if you're concerned with making gains on the main, right? If it's for fun, like how I also do it with my other Knights of Cygnus, that's a completely different story. And yeah, I think that has to do it this week. I planned on showing more Carling gameplay, but I honestly had no improvement to report. I know learning through reinforcement is also a good thing, and just showing another like somewhat scuffed attempt of P1 and P2 could be helpful for you, right? But I just don't feel like it today. I gotta be honest, I wanna just grind it out in the evening here, and that's what I'm gonna do. The frag income game has been crazy, to be honest. I'm sitting at 17 byte. Byte. All I can think about is fucking Shadow Byte. Oh man. Okay. Shadow Spear is sitting at 17 now, and Rapid Throw is sitting at 18. And I think I really want to have these two at 20. And getting these two to 20 takes, yeah, quite some time. From 15 to 20 is roughly 700 fragments. So that would be a whole week where I farm a lot, right? So at least 2 webs a day. Plus, you know, a little extra probably. That's a lot. That's really, really a lot. So, yeah. And now, you know, I'm 17 and 18 and I want to have both at 20. That's probably, yeah, like 1200 or something like that. No, maybe not as bad, yeah, but at least, you know, I think like 1000 frags probably in order to have these at 20. And afterwards, I think I should start dumping more points into silence, but I'm not 100% sure about that, because in Carling specifically, you know, the boss that is troubling me right now, silence is not really doing that much at the moment, right? Because when I enter P2, which is currently the biggest challenge for me, I use it to bind more so than I would use it to generate, you know, progress in terms of doing damage to Carling, where in an optimal scenario I would always origin rather early into me starting to burst, but since I wanna make use of the bind duration, I origin relatively late, and with the way this origin works, where not all the damage is delivered in one swoop, but rather, you know, stretched out over 30 seconds, putting extra levels into the origin right now doesn't really seem super worth it, right? Because what I end up doing is, okay, I buff up, I start damaging Carling, I use my Jenny iframe, I continue damaging Carling. As soon as the Jenny iframe runs out, I origin, right? And after the origin animation ends, I have like maybe 6 more seconds, something like that, to hit Carling with. And then she starts flying off. I'm trying to optimize my entry, and I still haven't found the proper way on how I want to go about playing the P2 entry quite yet. But, you know, all comes with time. And yeah, since I can't really harness my origin damage during that phase, I feel like I can deprioritize putting points into that. And if you're also playing Nightwalk and you're wondering why I only have 15 points in Greater Dark Servant right now, it's because I still use a cooldown head even while bossing. And the cooldown head basically does the same thing as if I were to put additional points into Greater Dark Servant, right? Putting more points into Greater Dark Servant would up the duration on the skill. But by me having 4 seconds of flat cooldown reduction, I already assure that I have 100% uptime on the skill. And yeah, going further than this, you can have multiple instances of this skill out at the same time, but you need to have your back and forth teleports completely depleted in order to make use of this, which is not really feasible in any scenario, to be honest. So me sticking to level 15 here is probably a good thing to do for now, at least. And maybe I should still make a damage head. It's not amazingly expensive. I also just opened one in order to throw some flames at it, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should go back to Ardent Mill, open all my heads and fuse them together and see if I land an awesome flame and then go for it. I think that could be a fun thing to do. But yeah, that is basically the reasoning right now for my kind of scuffed 6-drop progression and why it's so much outside of what is recommended, right? I feel like this does push me into the right direction a little more in my specific scenario, but at the end of the day, I just need to grind more, and eventually we have this all maxed and I don't have to worry about it anymore. But until we are there, I think probably another like 6 months gonna pass before that ever happens. Ay. So yeah, with all of that out of the way, I hope you are progressing your 6th job just as well as I am, and I'm wishing you a nice rest of the week. Take care, everybody, and bye bye.